it's the goods, and we're back with your NFL playoff edition, Wild Card Weekend. I have my guest here with me today, JK. How you doing today?
Josh King 65 as the kids call me.
Always
The
got
kids
that
call
at
me.
65 out there.
Kids don't
All
call me
right.
shit. Adults call me Josh King 65. Kids, you don't even know I'm here.
Okay, well today we got the new podcast form for you guys, and we're gonna run through all these 6 playoff games for you. We will jump right into it, and we will start off with the first 2 games are on Saturday, and we got the Seahawks at the 49ers. Seahawks are plus 9.5, and the over/under for this game is 42.5. How you feel about this game, JK65?
Honestly, man, I don't want to be controversial out the gate. The more and more I've looked into this game, the more and more I feel that I'm 100% right with my first take. I got the Seahawks not only covering, but winning the game straight up. I love the over. I think it's going to be like 33-16. I think Geno Smith is going to dominate the 49ers. He's a mobile quarterback that can get outside the pocket. The Niners collapse. I see a guy that collapses when I look at Shanahan, and Pete Carroll is the better coach. Everybody thinks the Niners are going to rule on them. I don't think so. I think Geno Smith shows everybody that he's a great quarterback, and you'll see firsthand whenever they beat the Niners. So take the Seahawks and the points and the over, but I think you'd be really well, and I know I'm definitely doing. I'm going money line on this all day, Seahawks.
The 49ers minus 9.5 is a very favored bet. They're about statistics from BetMGM has them about 80% or better. People having money on the 49ers spread. I agree with the over. I do like that. 49ers score points no matter what. So that means for Seahawks to keep up, they have to score points no matter what. I don't like the 49ers having the rookie quarterback as their starting quarterback for their playoff game. That does worry me. I don't. Rookies can be great as much as they can be, but when it comes to the big games, when the big guys show up, and I don't know if they have that in them yet. He's still a rookie and everything. So I'm not totally in agreement with you. Oh, I definitely don't think the Seahawks will win outright, but I do think they have a good chance of covering, and I do like the over. So
Since
that's what I put on.
we're both on the over. Let's talk about the Niners for a little bit more in depth, real quick. Purdy, man, I like him. It's one of those. He reminds me of like when Jeff Garcia first started playing for the Niners. If you remember, Jeff Garcia replaced, I think it was actually Steve Young. Not 100% sure, but I'm almost positive it was. Garcia brought out something different in the offense, was hitting Terrell Owens right off the bat. Obviously, the Niners' offense, I think, is actually better with Purdy than with Garoppolo, in my opinion. But you're right. Playoffs, Carroll is the better coach, in my opinion. And number two, the biggest thing I think everybody's overlooking is that Geno Smith had a fantastic year. I know they had one extra game, but he broke Russell Wilson's passing records. I think the
Yes.
Seahawks were playing very vanilla. They knew they were going to get in the playoffs. They didn't show a lot. I think that people are going to be surprised when the Seahawks are up big. And even if the 49ers are up big, dude, look who the coach is. That coach has collapsed multiple times. So
Yes.
we're still
Yes.
on the different side of the aisles. I love the Seahawks. A big dog is going down this weekend. I think it's the Niners.
Yeah, well, the only reason I'm still favoring the Niners to win is just because this is the time of year where like defense wins games, and
Yeah.
49ers defense is way better than Seahawks defense. So like, they gotta
It,
step up to the plate if they want to keep advance and go to the next round.
it's unbelievable. I'll just I know I said it like 3 times, but look, coming into the season, I honestly because I went to the Seahawks preseason game against the Steelers to take a look at that Drew Lock versus Smith. Lock looked really good. I thought he actually looked a little better than Geno. Geno shocked me this year, and I think that that's a quarterback that nobody in the playoffs. I think a lot of if you saw Big Cat's rankings, everybody else's rankings, people have assumed that Geno's at the bottom. But I think by the end of these playoffs, Geno's going to be right up in the top. I think the Seahawks are making it deeper in the playoffs, but let's just leave it at that. They start their, I think they're going to go to the NFC Championship game for sure. I think they just beat the Niners the more and start showing the NFC that the Niners aren't as good as people think. The defense is fantastic. It's going to be Geno Smith just stepping up and just playing out of his mind, I think. I think he's going to extend third downs. I think the Niners are going to get shell shocked at home. And yeah, I mean, definitely take the Seahawks in the points if you're really betting something. Josh, while we're talking about the over, I'm just thinking that over being 42. I think that's like super safe because I definitely see it going over 42. But I have this like weird thought on this line, dude. This is a rookie quarterback. The Seahawks. If I could do an alternate line where I give the Niners points, I would do it. But here's how crazy it is. If the final score was Seahawks 35, 49ers 0, the under hit. So maybe stay away from the over under. I definitely go Seahawks. Take the points, but I think money line you can't beat it on the points. And if you parlay stuff, that Seahawks bet's gonna look even better because it's gonna pay out huge on parlays and 3-team parlays.
Yeah, and money line odds are ridiculous for both teams on that game. But we'll move on to the next one. So we got the Los Angeles Chargers at the Jacksonville Jaguars. This game is probably the most even matched up game throughout the playoffs, other than maybe the Vikings and Giants, but that's more of a weird one. But yeah, the Chargers and Jaguars, betting wise, stat wise, anything wise, I think this is probably the most even matched up game throughout. So the game was a pick 'em at first, but the Chargers are now -2.5, and the over under is 47.5 at the moment. That might drop a point or two, go up a point or two. I don't know. But yeah, that's the lines as of right now. I want Justin Herbert to succeed so bad. I just don't know if that defense can help him out as much as he can help the situation out himself. And Jaguars obviously have stepped up big time from last year. How do you feel about this?
Well, first and foremost, go over that over under again just one more time with the point total because I have a specific score in my head for this one that I think is dead accurate. Is it under
Over
39 points?
over under is 47.5.
Okay, I love the under in this game. 16-13 final. I've seen it. It could go either way, 16-13 in this game. It's going to come down to a field goal. Josh, I'm very familiar with both teams. The Chargers specifically, I'm a Raider fan. I watched a lot of Charger games this year. I've actually had Herbert. I've said this on record a few times that I really have Herbert above Mahomes if I was starting a franchise. And I love Mahomes. I think Mahomes is going to be one of the greatest players of all time. But starting a franchise, Herbert can make throws I've never seen before in the NFL. He's getting better and better. The Chargers are a much weaker team than the Chiefs. The Chiefs have an overall great team. They have a better coach. And let's stay on the Chargers here. That defense, there's only one team the Chargers could go up against in the playoffs where it's a bad matchup for them, and that's the Jacksonville Jaguars. Let me tell you, about 8 weeks ago, the Raiders were in Jacksonville, and they looked like they were going to start rolling. It was the toughest game the Raiders had all year in Jacksonville. That defense is so fast. They never stop. They never die. Peterson's the better coach. Look no further than that Raiders Chargers game last year. That coach, they should never have fired Anthony Lynn. They should never have fired Anthony Lynn. That coach is terrible. He makes terrible decisions. He goes to analytics all the time. They get second guessed all the time. He collapses in the playoffs. There's going to be no bigger stage. Jacksonville is going to win this game on coaching alone. And look, you can't sleep on Lawrence. Lawrence is the number one with the pick with the pedigree, dude. He's a winner. And look, Urban Meyer was such a bad coach last year. Jacksonville made huge strides. Josh Dobbs was not a bad quarterback at all. Tennessee was playing really well last week, but that Jaguars defense was so fast. It's going to be a nightmare matchup. It's going to be so close the whole way through. Chargers can win, but I think it's just safe to take a money line bet the Jaguars. Jaguars roll, and we've seen before when they have Blake Bortles, the Jaguars are that sneaky team that can make their way to the AFC Championship game. They can not only knock out the Chargers, but they can knock out a big dog next week.
Yeah, I think this will be a close game also. I don't have an official pick for winners yet. I do favor the under because both teams, I mean, you're coming into this game, it's a playoff game. It's like the first big playoff game for both of your teams. The defenses are going to have to tighten up and everything. So it'll be a close game. I favor the lower scoring game. I don't know who I like as a winner yet. I feel like just because I want Herbert to succeed so much, I'm kind of like blanking out the Jaguars, but
Mm-hmm.
they're good. They are good, and Trevor Lawrence, I like him too. He's good also. I
Travis
just feel
Etienne is
like
unbelievable as a running back. ETN, I just
yeah,
say
and
yeah,
well
unbelievable.
so on the other side, Mike Williams is out for the Chargers. That's about their number two wide receiver. They still have Keenan Allen. They still have Palmer and the tight end. But Austin Eckler, he's their most diverse one because he's the running back. But he catches just as much as he runs. So that makes him very diverse and very dangerous. And him scoring that is probably my favorite bet for this game. An Austin Eckler touchdown. Like
Hey,
that dude scores like no other. That dude makes moves, gets open, gets yards like no other, and Herbert loves throwing the ball to him.
there's one thing about the Jaguars. Their cornerbacks play such a lock and tight type of game. Like, I think they're going to take the receivers out of it. I do like your Eckler getting a touchdown, but I think the linebackers are faster. Like, look, when you're running Miles Jack, that tells me one thing. That means that your linebackers are quick and they can cover because right now, Miles Jack going to Pittsburgh, you let him go. That linebacking core, the defensive ends, they can stop that running back attack. He will get loose a few times. Great point. But I think he doesn't score more than one touchdown. I don't think the Chargers scored many touchdowns. I think they scored one touchdown the entire game. I really just see this one for what it is. The 16-13 Jaguars, no doubt about it, type of win where it's going to come down to a field goal by either team at the end.
Yeah. No, this will definitely be a good game to watch. I'm glad they put this one in the primetime late night game. But okay, so
Oh,
moving
yeah.
on to Sunday. Moving on to Sunday now. So our first Sunday game, 1 o'clock game, we have the Dolphins at the Bills. In case nobody knows, Tua is not playing. Teddy Bridgewater is not playing. Skylar Thompson is the starting quarterback for the Miami Dolphins. The
Who?
line,
Who? Who?
exactly. So the line now is that Bills minus 13.5, and the over/under is 43.5. I don't know what I feel about the over under just because you have no clue what Miami's going to do offensively. They still have Tyreek. They still have Jalen Waddle. Them dudes will catch and run probably better than any other wide receiver in the game. But can the quarterback get them the ball like that is my question for this game. I think the Bills win easily, but the money line is minus 1,000, so it's pretty much useless to do for anything. But I think the Bills win this game easily, hands down
Yeah,
easily.
Josh, look, there's going to be an upset. And I think I said earlier with that Niners beating the Seahawks, like one of these big dogs are going down. And that's the big dog going down. Buffalo, there's no way they're going down. It's one of those things where that money line's minus 1,000 for a reason. I don't trust Thompson. If Thompson was literally he barely got right up and beat the Jets. And like the Jets defense might even be better than Buffalo's, but Buffalo's offense, there's no way they Miami can go into Buffalo. Now, if they had Tua, I still think Buffalo wins by maybe a touchdown or two. No Tua, no chance. I would stay away from the over under. I would just stay away from betting this game. You could parlay the Bills, but the money line's so out of whack, it's not even worth it. So I just sit back and enjoy the Dolphins getting their ass beat, even though I like Miami so much. It's actually really the saddest story in the NFL is Miami was one of the most fun teams to watch, and they could play ball. And Tua's injuries, man, that kind of really concussions
Yeah,
are at front and center right now in that game. That's going to be like all day talking about concussions and the dangers of the NFL. It's just not good that these two teams are matching up. I'd rather saw Pittsburgh and Buffalo. That would have been a better game.
oh yeah, and Pittsburgh has a tendency to give Buffalo a little run for their money
Ooh,
sometimes.
yes,
Not
they do.
not
They
not,
could have. They,
not necessarily this year, but last year they did. So, you know. But anyways, yeah. So I think this is an easy Buffalo win. Miami got too derailed with the quarterback situation. I just think that gives them no chance for this week.
if Buffalo
So
loses to Miami some miracle, then nobody doing a show is going to know shit because there's nobody in America that's picking those games at
yeah,
all.
yeah.
There's no way
The
with a
only
straight face. Even Dolphins fans aren't betting the Dolphins.
yeah. No, agreed. All right, so we'll move on to the 4 o'clock game. So this game
Side
is
note,
probably
Josh, on the 1 o'clock game, sorry to cut you off. This should be the year for the Bills. So I only say that because if you're really looking at a game like, oh, Miami can get them, maybe I'll take the points. Don't fuck around with it, anybody. Buffalo is a team of destiny this year. We already know everybody's talking about it. And they are
yeah.
the team that can go toe to toe with the big dogs at the end. They'll be there at the end.
Yeah, and they also got a little bit more fight in them right now because of what happened to Hamlin a few weeks ago. So they got a little more to play for, I guess, than just going for the Super Bowl. But
You're
yeah, so
absolutely right. They were even with Hamlin. The thing happened. If that didn't happen, Cincinnati's lucky that that game didn't get played because even without Hamlin, Buffalo is just too tough, and they lost to the Chiefs. They've had this on their mind the entire year. The overtime rules are different. Buffalo definitely has, a complete team, and it's so tough to play at Buffalo. That's the toughest place in the NFL to play. I hate playing at Arrowhead as a fan. Man, those Buffalo games, just every hit just feels like it hurts.
yeah, and Miami being used to the warmer weather, now they're going. I mean, they already did this year, but still, like they're still going back up into
Mm-hmm.
Buffalo. You already know it's gonna be cold, probably gonna be windy. And it's just Buffalo's built for it. Miami isn't. Simple as that.
Kyle Brandt had Josh Allen on his stuff, and he was talking about that in Kyle Brandt's basement. Josh Allen said something really unique, and I want to bring it to the table. He said that everybody knows like why Buffalo is the toughest place to play because they were talking about should they be in a dome because their offense would probably be better in a dome. But Josh Allen alluded that there's like three or four other things that other teams don't know and they're secrets, and he doesn't want to talk about them on air. But he seems to have an ace up his sleeve when it comes to playing in Buffalo. The Bills know it. That's why they're so tough to play in Buffalo. This team specifically, this roster, they can play in Buffalo with the best of all the Buffalo Bills teams we've seen in the years past. This might be the best Bills team ever.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. And they're ready. What happened to them the past few years in the playoffs, what happened to them last year, specifically in the playoffs. These
Hmm.
dudes are ready to come get that crown.
They're hungry.
If you remember the picture of Stephon Diggs sitting there at the end of the game, staring at
Yep.
the Chiefs as they won, that stuff sits with people, So
Diggs is
it's
special. Diggs is
yeah,
special. He's gonna have a special playoff. He could be the MVP of the whole playoffs because him and Allen together, man. We saw on Thanksgiving. That's a tough Lions team that those two at the end just took over the game, and that Detroit team played fucking great that day.
yeah, they did. So yeah, Bills win easily. Moving on, we got this is the weirdest game I believe. So we got the New York Giants at the Minnesota Vikings. The
Mm-hmm.
Vikings -3. The over/under is 48.5. The Vikings have been the luckiest team by a landslide all year long. Almost every single one of their games were won by one possession or one field goal. All of them were close. They had the luckiest wins all year long. Stat wise, it shows how lucky they are because they aren't really good with the stats, but they're still winning so much. So their luck has just been keeping them going all year long. I don't really know how I feel about this game, but Giants don't score much. Vikings do. If Giants want to put up a fight, they're going to have to play defense and slow down the Vikings. So I do favor the under in this game. It's 48.5 right now. It's a little bit higher than most of the other games. It
Mm-hmm.
is. It's actually the highest over under all weekend. So I do favor that. But winner wise, I don't know because I feel like luck only gets you so far, man. Like your luck's gonna run out at some point. I just don't know if the Giants are the team to ruin that luck yet.
Daniel Jones, what he's done, had a really good year. You know, the stuff with Barkley, it's been kind of a little bit of a distraction over the years. Nobody really knew what the deal is. Barkley's played really well. The Giants are tough overall. The Giants have always traditionally built their team around a good defensive end, so they can stop like the mobile quarterbacks. But in this case, unfortunately, if you're going up against Lamar Jackson, which you are not, you're going up against Kirk Cousins. What's that's going to give you? It's going to give you a quicker drop back, better release. Kirk Cousins has taken so much shit over the years. I think this one's actually not even close. Vikings route them. So everybody's thinking, oh man, maybe the luck runs out. Giants getting by a field goal. Giants aren't ready for the main stage yet, and I like them. Look, I'm kind of rooting for them. I hate Minnesota. They're the most boring team in football. That said, they are actually one of the biggest threats to come out of the NFC to go to the Super Bowl. And I think that you give the points to the Giants, you don't look back. You're going to be up 10-0, maybe 17-0 the whole game, and Kirk Cousins is going to put on a show. And even if he doesn't, even if it's a slow game, 17-3 maybe, I like the under two, Josh. You said the under, right?
Yeah, yeah, yes,
I love the under two in this. That's it. I think that you take the Vikings in the under, you parlay that game. Worst case scenario, I think you bet and give the points. You give them three all day. Give them three all day.
yeah. And I also like Justin Jefferson to step up a little bit because he didn't break the single season receiving record. He was on pace to easily. He didn't do it. He had two tough games to close the year out. So I expect him to want to show up and give a reason why he's one of the best receivers in the league. So yeah, I like that, and I definitely favor the under. That's probably my favorite pick for this game. And then so we move on to the night game, Sunday night prime time, divisional matchup: Baltimore Ravens at the Cincinnati Bengals. Baltimore Ravens will not have Lamar Jackson. It is official, even though it pretty much already was. They just weren't saying it, but now the news is out. He's officially out for the game. So the Ravens are in a very tough spot now. The Bengals are -8.5, and the over/under is 40.5. What do you feel for this game?
I think that people are overlooking how bad Cincinnati's offensive line has been throughout the years. So everybody thinks the Bengals are going to rout them. The Bengals are going to be one of those teams. I'm not going to say the word use the words in danger, but if you see Baltimore up like 17-6, you better watch out. Now, look, Burrow's the man, dude. He's going to get this win for sure, but they're not going to cover. Ravens cover no matter what. They're going to run the ball. They're going to keep it close. You love a team whenever you're getting 8.5 points against a division opponent that this will be the third time that you play. And look, sneaky. The Bengals defense, while they're better than they've been in the years past, there's no guarantees that you're going to be able to stop that mobile quarterback getting first down. This is going to be a dogfight. Two rivals going at it. Burrow and the Bengals are going to pull ahead, and they're going to find a way to win the game for sure. But as far as covering the 8.5, I think no way, Jose. I love Baltimore getting the 8.5, but I definitely look for the Bengals to win if you're looking for a money line bet. As far as over under, stay clear of it. If anything, I'm going to tell you the under right off the bat. But you and I both know that Burrow and Chase together and the Ravens. Look, what's the over under?
40 and a half.
So let's say 21-20 game. That's 41. So yeah, it's
Yeah,
under.
that would be
Actually,
it. No,
yeah,
no.
I'd parlay Ravens and under all day. Take the points in the under all day. I like the parlays a lot, man. There's a lot of money to be made this weekend. There really is. I think there really and truly is a lot of money to
Yeah,
be made.
well, the Bengals minus 8.5 is actually, I believe, the most favored bet of the whole entire weekend. Uh, we have three very heavily favored games, and then we have three very even games. So that's basically your whole weekend. So parlays will be a big thing for people, obviously. But yeah, Bengals money line all day. If you're doing parlays, I would throw that on easily. Bengals are not losing that game. The Cincinnati Bengals are actually the most ticketed team, the most bet ticketed team to win the Super Bowl this season. I believe they have almost 20%, 20 some percent of the bets to win the Super Bowl. So a
Oh,
lot of people,
now that you're telling me that, Josh, sorry to cut you off there, but look, now that I know that, I love the Ravens covering even more. Don't be surprised if the Bengals go down, maybe. You know how the NFL is, man.
oh yeah, I mean it's all about entertainment. It's all about show, you know. So anything can happen, and like it's these games nowadays. It's like any given Sunday. Anybody can
Mm-hmm.
win. Like one or two turnovers can turn a whole game around, and yeah, so stuff can
How are they going to
happen. But
start? How are they going to stop the defensive front of the Baltimore Ravens, dude? It's tough to get any yards on them. You're not going to be able to run the ball on for sure.
yeah, and Burrow is like the most sacked quarterback since he's been in the league. So like
Burrow could get
he
hurt in the first quarter of this game, and then everybody's bets are looking really rough.
oh yeah,
More,
nobody even knows who the backup is for Cincinnati Bengals.
I truly don't. I truly don't. I watch a lot of Bengals games too.
Yeah, so I just put they just had too much firepower with Boyd, with Higgins, with Chase, with Mixon, with Burrow himself. The defense obviously isn't necessarily something to write home about all the time, but the offense, it's one of those teams that the offense can just get the job done. So I love the Bengals to win. I don't know how I feel about the spread. You obviously love the Ravens spread. I believe it could be it's a divisional matchup too. Divisional unders and divisional spreads have gone not the favorites' way the entire time. The game usually goes under, and the dog usually covers for most of the season so far, about 60 some percent, I believe, to be exact. So, I mean, what you're saying is on par with how it's been going for the season.
Well, I mean, your point about everybody having the Bengals on a ticket, you know how the NFL is. Like, look, one of these big teams is going down. I think I have it right. I think I found the team, the Niners. Everybody just assumes the Niners are going to kill the Seahawks. I just, let's stay on this game. But Bengals Ravens, man, I can't believe we're in 2023. We haven't learned that you don't give the Ravens that many points in a
Yeah,
playoff
yeah,
game. What the fuck are they doing there? They want the
yeah,
public to get Bengals. I can't believe that's the most bets on the Bengals covering that spread. You've
yeah,
not
yeah,
watched the AFC North games ever. Then that's just
yeah.
amazing.
Like
Even with the backup quarterback.
yeah, like we're talking like the Bengals minus 8.5 is almost like 90% of the bets for that game.
Yep.
That's from BetMGM statistics, so I'm sure like everywhere else is different, but I'm sure everywhere else is close to the same at the same time. So yeah,
All you hear
Bengals
all
are
week is how the Bengals are going to kill the Ravens. Blah 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 blah.
yeah. So that's either gonna be a very disappointing game for people, or that's gonna go exactly how people thought.
Well, offensive
So
line, I just don't. I mean, let's talk about it for one more second. Like that offensive line, weak. The defensive line of the Ravens, there's only one other better defensive line in terms of just the eyeball test. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but the New York Giants always have the best defensive ends and the best defensive line. The other team in the AFC is always the Ravens. Maybe like 20 years ago, we had Kirk Cousins versus no, it wasn't Kirk Cousins. It was Collins versus I think it was Testaverde, maybe. Sounds right. But the whole point of it was the defensive lines. When you get in the playoffs, you're going to be able to advance usually if you have the best defensive line. And the Ravens have the best defensive line and the defensive unit, in my opinion, in the AFC. Minus Buffalo is a little tough, so Ravens could definitely win this game, but they're going to cover the 8.5. Put it that way. We've said it 3 times today. That's what I'm sure. That's like a lock. 8.5 Ravens. That's my best bet of the week, except for the Niners
ooh,
bet. I feel yeah.
he's throwing out some best bets for you guys. Listen to
I mean, I'm,
that.
I'm I'm betting all these games, dude. I'll be begging on the side of the street if I lose these, but I don't feel like I'm losing. I feel like I'm gonna get a nice pad pad the bank account for real. I feel so good about these games.
Okay, well that's your primetime game for Sunday. That's your late night, and now we're on to the Monday night football game, which this might be one of the most interesting games of the whole weekend. We have the Dallas Cowboys at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This line was also different to begin with. I don't remember what it opened up as, but it is now down to Cowboys minus 2.5, and the over/under is 45.5. The unders have been hitting like crazy in the Buccaneers games. And if anybody knows, well, if so, two things. So if anybody knows, Tom Brady's the starting quarterback of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You already know Brady's track record. You already know the whole thing that comes with that. And it's hard to bet against Brady when it's playoff time. And Brady is also undefeated against the Dallas Cowboys. He has yet to lose to them. And we all know the Dallas Cowboys do not do well in the playoffs ever. Like almost since the 90s, they have not done well in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
So so this is like if you're going off of like storylines, if you're going off of anything of the past before, a lot of people see this as an easy game to pick, but it still is bet. The bets are pretty even on it. I believe the Buccaneers are more favored, but they're not even 60%. So we're looking at like a 55-45. It's a pretty even share when it comes to betting. What do you think? Who you got this game?
This actually is the easiest game. It's the Buccaneers all day. It's Tom Brady. He came back out of retirement for a reason. Knew the roster he was going to have. He obviously thought the roster was good enough to make a run. He's obviously going to the Raiders next year. This is his last chance with the Bucks. He's playing with house money. One win, he's the all-time leading NFC. He'll beat the NFC more than any other quarterback. We're talking Montana. We're talking Brett Favre. Dude, Tom Brady's been in the NFC. This is only going to be his third year in the NFC as a quarterback. He beat the NFC, I think, 6 times, 7 times, 7 time Super Bowl champion, correct? No,
Seven
six,
times?
six.
Six.
No,
I would say
six with the
six.
Patriots. Yes, yes, yes. Six with the Patriots, right?
Yes.
Okay. So then you also have this. I love going to Dallas. I was actually in Texas whenever McCarthy got hired. It was a head scratcher then. It's even more of a head scratcher now. Reason being, Jerry, you want to win a Super Bowl. What makes you think that McCarthy's the guy for the job? Yes, he did beat the Steelers back then, but Mendenhall fumbled. Look, McCarthy, Rodgers has undermined McCarthy for years afterwards, gave him the credit, still talks highly of him. But if he was as good a coach as Jerry thinks he is, Aaron Rodgers would never have let the Packers fire McCarthy. And we all know that McCarthy was fired because Rodgers wanted to go a different direction, right? They picked Rodgers in that situation. McCarthy, I don't know how he survived. I don't know what Jerry sees, but I tell you what, man, it's going to be a one and done. And Jerry, the fact that he came out and said that McCarthy's job's not up, dude, McCarthy's going to lose and he's going to be out of a job the following day because Jerry doesn't fuck around. And this Cowboys team's loaded. Unfortunately, you're going into Tampa Bay, Tom Brady, national spotlight. Brady knows all eyes are on him. There's nobody better under the bright lights. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are I really feel they're going to go to the Super Bowl, and the only thing that's going to stop them is going to be the Seattle Seahawks. Maybe the Seahawks could be up like 13-9 in a dogfight in the NFC Championship game. Don't worry about that yet. Worry about this game. Bucks all day, easy money. We're watching this game, watching Brady beat the Bucks, and you're hitting all your bets if you listen to me for sure. We have one difference of opinion, I think, in all these games, right?
Yeah, I believe so far.
That's it. Yeah, I mean, we're both going to make some money this weekend. And it's NFL playoffs, man. There's no better time. This is the best playoff that I think for years. Too bad the Steelers weren't in it, just for like the whole viewership. Because I think Steelers being in instead of the Dolphins would have made this a perfect playoffs. But
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that.
I
I'm,
would stay
I'm,
away from the over under this game because you never know. Like, dude, Brady's gonna find a way to eat this out. It could be 17-14. It could be 48-34. It's gonna be the best game. Cowboys Bucks is gonna be a treat for all. It's just gonna tie the whole weekend up perfectly.
yeah, no, that they definitely threw a good game for Monday night. Brady's obviously hard to go against. I definitely favor Brady. We got two really good defenses that makes me favor the under, but at the same time, Cowboys offense is pretty powerful, and you already know Brady will just be slinging it the entire game. They don't necessarily have a running back. They do with Fournette and Rashad White, but neither of them really get many yards, and they'll go for the screen passes coming out of the backfield passes. Brady is going to be slinging the ball the entire game, and He's like I said, he's never lost to the Cowboys. That was brought up on the sideline of their last game. I don't know if anybody's seen that video, but Mike Evans was
Yeah.
like, "Oh, you're undefeated against Cowboys." Tom Brady's like, "Oh yeah, you pay attention to that." And Mike Evans like, "Yeah, I do pay attention to that." So yeah, they know what's up. They know what's going on,
Dak's a
and
great quarterback. The Cowboys have a great team, but Jerry Jones has been unlucky as hell for as long as we can remember, dating back to whenever Super Bowl 30 when they beat the Steelers. I mean, it's been a tough past 20, 25 years for Jerry. He's getting older. Like, dude, there's so much pressure on a player. You know, Jerry's up there in age. You never know how many more playoffs Jerry has. Unfortunately, it's GOAT player versus actually right now ownership, number one owner in the NFL. I fucking love Jerry Jones. I love I used to hate the Cowboys as a kid. I love the star. I would love to play in Dallas. Dude, I lived in Dallas briefly. It was all about Romo. It was about the Cowboy way of life. The media is great. But dude, one thing about that media, dude, Jerry calls the shots. Everybody loves Jerry. Like, dude, I just don't see them leaving Tampa Bay victorious. The NFC's wide open. And if everything happens the way I said it was going to happen, I mean, dude, there's going to be some weak ass NFC team left where the Vikings are going to be the favorite. I think the Niners
yeah,
get eliminated, Cowboys get eliminated. Now, if the both teams win in advance, like you're looking at the old school Cowboys Niners NFC Championship game probably. But dude, no way, Brady's not going to bow out, dude. Brady's not losing to the Cowboys. He's
yeah.
just not.
If Yeah, I mean, that's I just don't see him bowing out. Basically, what you just said. It's just that is this how Tom's going to go out? And if he does, he's definitely going somewhere else next year.
Oh,
Definitely going.
he's coming to the Raiders. Even if he wins the Super Bowl, he's coming to the Raiders, dude. It's a foregone conclusion. I gotta get my shotgun because I want to go rob a bank and then bet everything we just talked about. Because this is money in the bank. I'm just gonna get the old rifle ready.
But
Saturday
yes,
morning. Hi, I'll make a withdrawal and then I come back in 2 minutes later with a little ski mask on, hand the teller a note.
this is all for Tom Brady. Let's go.
Everything. I love the games, man. We're making money this weekend, living good, man. I'm gonna go have a great dinner tonight, enjoy my victory money for the weekend ahead of time. Take out a loan, go get your credit card, whatever way you can get your hands on some cash. Take these bets. Let's make some money this weekend.
All right, well there you go. That's the talk. That's the picks for this week. Put out some more officially tomorrow and Sunday, and then we will see you guys next weekend for round
I want
two.
to make one last little comment. Speaking of Brady, people are like, "Oh, who's JK coming in the goods?" Hey, there was Bledsoe for a long time, good thing going, but no, who's this Tom Brady guy? Man, he has a nice ball. He throws a nice little ball, hard to tackle. Yeah, dude, Tom Brady's here now. TB12, JK65. What up? Over out.
All
Dogs.
right, we'll see you guys next week.